Hey everyone, in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can edit videos in Adobe Premiere Pro in less than 15 minutes for beginners, completely for free. So once you have Adobe Premiere Pro opened up, you want to click a new project and save this wherever you want to save it. I'm saving it under downloads and I'm just going to name this project. Wait for it to load. And once it loads, you'll have a similar setup like this. And basically you want to go to your folder and you want to drag everything onto the project. So I have A-roll, music, sound effects, and transitions. Wait for that to load. And then once it loads, I recommend having these folders as I said. This is going to be my main footage, and I double tap and it opens up. Music, double tap, opens up. Sound effects, transitions, and it opens up like so. And then to make this easier, we have the icon view like this. And then for our A-roll in the folder, I'm going to drag this onto the timeline, which is right here. So I have here something called safe margins. You can enable this by clicking the button editor and then finding it right here and then holding and dragging it on like so. In this case, I'm going to disable it. So this is what I have under my timeline, but if you want to edit it, the specific clips, you double tap on it like so. And then we have whatever clips we want to use, or whichever point of the video. So let's say I want to use this point. I click I on my keyboard, which creates an endpoint. And then, so the parts of the video that I want to add, as I said, I click I on the keyboard, creates an endpoint. And let's say I want that part right there, I click O, and then on the keyboard, I click comma. And as you can see, it adds it onto the timeline. So I'm going to do that for a couple other clips. So we click I, and then right when it switches, we click O and then comma. And it adds it onto our timeline. So this is what we have at the moment. If I want, I can add a introduction right after there. So I will click C on my keyboard and it creates the cut tool. I click where it wants to cut. I click V on my keyboard to deselect. And then me zooming in on the timeline, I'm clicking the plus icon and then the minus icon to zoom out. And then I'll click under here and then I'll click the top arrow. And then it goes like that. It goes to the beginning and then I'll go to this right here, which is effects control. I'll click here as a keyframe. We'll make this, let's say 50%. I'll go to effects and then I'll type in blur. I do have a preset. If you want, you can download it. Link will be in the description. And then see how it blurs the image. I go to effect controls and I make the blurriness maybe 50. And then I click T on my keyboard to add a text. And then I'll name this introduction. I click Control A. And as you can see, here's the text right here. I click the drop down arrow, regular, and then we'll change this to bold. And then we'll move this to the center. And then if you do want to add music, you go to your music folder. And then I'm adding this music track. But I want the music to be a little bit quiet, so I go to the effect controls. And then this is how you can adjust the volume. You can click here under levels and you can make this -10. And this is basically what it will sound like. You basically go under preference and go under edit, preferences, audio, play while scrubbing. So this is what this will sound like. So that's a little bit too loud. So if I want, I can make the audio completely silent. And basically, if I go under, again, to effect controls, I can go under volume and then I'll make this -300. So notice it added a keyframe right here. If I want this at the beginning of the video, then I drag the keyframe to the left. So now this is what it sounds like. So that's perfect. So I'm gonna cut or add a edit like so. I click C, and then if I zoom in on here, if I click the backspace, it deletes the clip. And then also that's really cool, you can lock this layer by clicking the lock icon. Click the dry space on the timeline and click the backspace and it deletes it. So I don't want this part of the video right here, so I'm going to click C, and then C, and then I can delete it. Or what you can do, I'm just clicking Control Z. Instead of doing that and you don't want the rest of the video, you can click W on your keyboard and it will delete everything to the right. See? Okay, so now we're going to add a transition. If I go to my transition folder, I do have custom transitions, which basically is a old school film of a transition like that. I click C, cut, C, and then cut or delete. And then now I can just drag this by dragging it down, dragging it to the left, and this is what the transition looks like. I don't know if you caught that. That's the transition. If you don't want to add your own transition, that's fine. You can go under the effects and type in transition, and there are different transitions. Again, this will be under my transitions pack, but there's a cross dissolve, and you basically just drag it on like so, and then this is the transition. If you don't want that, you can click on the effect and delete, and there will be no effect or transition. But I like this one. It's an old school retro look. If you want the music to fade out so that you can hear the video, then I'm going to unlock the layer track. I'm going to add a cut, and then I'm going to click the audio piece, go back to effect controls, click on the keyframe right here to add a keyframe, and then I'm going to make this, I'm going to wait 2 seconds, and then right there when the music plays, I'm going to click here and make this negative 35 decibels. So it went from this to that. And you can monitor the audio right here to the right. You have an audio gain, it goes up and it goes down, so that is a good thing here too. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a zoom in effect so you can see more of me. So I'm going to click the C button to make a cut or add an edit, and then I want to zoom in on myself, and I'm going to make another cut, and then I click the up arrow on my keyboard, click the clip, and then under effect control, under motion, I click position, scale, and then I'm using this, I'm zooming to the right or moving the mouse to the right, and then I click motion, and then I click here on the screen, and then I'm going to have myself like that. So you can see now, this is the effect. Boom. That's what we have. Now, if I don't want the rest of this, but I want to keep the music track, I'm going to lock it, and then again, I'm going to click W on the keyboard, and it deletes everything. And we move on to the next clip. And if I want to copy this transition right here, then I can hold down Alt while also holding the clip. And as you can see, while I'm holding both Alt and dragging, it copies just like that. And I'm going to move it just like that. Boom. And that's what we have. Now, if this is it, if we want the outro to play, then this is what we're going to do. I'm going to add a cut, click on the clip, under effect controls, I'm going to click on opacity, and I want this to slowly fade into black. So, boom. And then I'll have this, I'm dragging to the left, make this 0. And what I can do as well is I can click under volume, audio, still under effect control. I can click this, add a keyframe, and then I add negative 300 decibel so it becomes silent. If you don't believe me, we can add a cut. We click the up arrow, and this is what this looks like. Okay, so you notice that it's completely silent. That's not what we want. We still want the audio to play, but to fade out. So instead of negative 300, we do 0. We still have our keyframe at the end of the video, but check this out. Boom, did you see that? Okay, so we're gonna go under our music tab. We're gonna add a music track underneath. So I'm just dragging it underneath. Keep in mind this is still locked. You can unlock it. And then I'm gonna find the part of the music that I wanna have. But I don't want any of this left, so I'm highlighting everything, and then I'm moving it to the right, like so. And then I don't want to touch the music track underneath, so if I want, I can click a cut or add an edit, backspace, and then I'll find the part that I want to use. I'll be right back.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I found the part I want to use. So I'm using the minus and the plus, and then I use the up arrow to go to the beginning of the clip. I click the plus to zoom in, and then right here, if I want this to zoom in, sorry, to fade in, then I'm dragging it to the beginning, and I put the up arrow to go to the beginning. Effect control, I click here, audio, say -30, and let's move our playhead halfway, and we want this to be -5. So this is what this sounds like. Okay, and then right when the beat drops right here, I can click the audio, 0. So now it's not silent or it's not loud, it's at the normal audio track. And then I click T on my keyboard, add a text, thanks for watching, click the motion right here, and then we can move this. And now this is what this looks like. Okay, so I click pause. Right, I'm gonna add a cut here. Here in the audio track, go back to the audio track. I'm gonna make this -5, and then towards the end, I want this to fade out, and then I'll do -300, and then this is what this looks like. Okay, so to export this, basically now you're gonna click Control plus M on your keyboard, so Control and then M. And then the format that I use and I recommend using is H.264. Preset is high bitrate if you want to upload this on social media. If not, you can change it. You click here and you can change it to medium. Notice that the file size went down. High bitrate, the file size doubled, almost tripled. We're going to do medium bitrate, and you don't touch anything else besides from that. Output name, and then you can save it, type in whatever you want, and then click export. And now it will give you time to export the video. And that's how you edit a video completely for free in Adobe Premiere Pro, whether you're viewing this on a laptop or a computer, Windows or Mac. You can do this whenever you want. Consider dropping this video a like, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel for more free video tutorials and photo video tutorials in the near future, or technology related. And I'll catch you guys and girls in the next one.